Cass, I'm one of the PAD tutors at the University of Bedfordshire, and I'm going to give you a very brief introduction of what paraphrasing is. So, by the end of today's session, you'll know about why we use references, the difference between quotes and paraphrasing, and how to paraphrase. So, there are three main reasons why it's important to reference in your assignments. First of all, references can help to validate your point of view. So if you're making a claim or an argument about anything in particular, it's always important to use evidence to make that a stronger argument, okay? The next reason is plagiarism. It's very easy to accidentally plagiarise in your work. So if you understand how to reference correctly, you'll avoid plagiarising. The last thing is it's a source for future investigation. So, for example, if anyone reads your work and they're interested to find out more about what this person has said, they can go away and they can locate that information, they can locate that source. So there's two ways for you to reference in text: quoting and paraphrasing. A quotation is when you copy a piece of text word for word from a book or another type of source. You should keep these to an absolute minimum at university by looking to see that you're paraphrasing rather than just copying lengthy text from somebody else's work. So, as I just mentioned, do not have them too long. That will eat into your word count and ultimately it will affect the mark that you'll get. So paraphrasing is what we're looking to see that you're doing in your assignments. Paraphrasing is when you look at other people's work and you put it into your own words. There's more to paraphrasing than just changing one or two words here and there or cutting out words from a sentence. It will show your understanding to the reader. So instead of just identifying that something's important and copying it word for word, you've been able to read it, understand it, and apply it to your work. So I'm going to show you an example of how to go from using a quote to paraphrasing it. So if we look at this quote here, in academic writing, it's essential to state the sources of ideas and information. Such references allow readers to refer back to the sources themselves. This next slide shows you my first attempt of paraphrasing. The original is at the bottom, my first attempt is at the top. Cottrell states that in writing, it's important to state the sources of ideas. References allow readers to find the sources themselves. Okay, what do you think about my first attempt of paraphrasing?
You haven't quoted it properly.
It's not a very good attempt, you're right. I haven't done it properly. I've cut out some words here and there. I've used some synonyms. I've changed essential to important. It's not actually enough to do this and call it paraphrasing. At the top you'll see my next attempt. The original's at the bottom and my first attempt is in blue here. Cottrell states that referencing should always be used when using the ideas and opinions of others in academic writing so that the original source can be easily located. What do you think of this attempt?
Yeah, that's much better, and you properly reference the page as well.
Okay, so this is a much better attempt of paraphrasing. I'm not going to claim it's perfect, but you can see that I certainly have tried to put it into my own words and I've still got the same point across. And I've correctly referenced the author. So, once you've paraphrased, once you've put something into your own words, how do you include that in your text? Well, you need to make sure you put the surname of the author or the organisation, and you need to put the year of publication. So that will look like this. At the start of a sentence, Cottrell, 2001, stated that plagiarism is a confusing and difficult concept to fully understand. So you can see at the beginning of the sentence the author's surname goes first and the date of publication comes next. You would use a reference at the beginning of the sentence if you're planning on talking about this person's ideas further. For example, my next sentence says, this author also found that. You can see here I've referred back to Cottrell and it's obvious that I'm continuing to talk about this person. At the end of a sentence, it would look like this. Plagiarism is a confusing and difficult concept to fully understand. Cottrell 2001. If you use a reference at the end of the sentence, it implies that you're only talking about this last sentence, okay? So if you've written a whole paragraph and it's come from Cottrell, it doesn't make that clear. Putting it at the end of the sentence implies you're only talking about this very last sentence, okay? That's very important, and that's how accidental plagiarism can take place. So, to conclude, referencing correctly can really strengthen your assignments and help you to do very well in your course. When you paraphrase, you should write down what the author has said completely in your own words. Remember, it's not enough just to change one or two words here and there. Finally, you must give credit to the person whose idea you're using when you paraphrase, and to do this you must reference it correctly. If you're not sure how to do that correctly, you can have a look at your faculty guidelines available on the LR web. This is what your references would look like in a reference list, but we'll be talking about that next time. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, well thank you very much for listening. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you again soon.